difficult it was, the uncertainty of the club at that moment. Everybody was well aware that the owner was trying to sell the club. Players that wanted to leave because the club having gone down and got, of course, relegated. There were players that wanted to be playing at Premier League level, or wanting moves abroad or so. So the things that always remain are the team have to train, and irrespective of what we say about players' highs and lows, and so players always want to train and they always enjoy training, and coaches always enjoy setting up training and taking training sessions. So the things that didn't change is that we trained well in that pre-season. The difficulty probably was determining the players that wanted to stay and fight to get this club back up into the Premier League, and of course the uncertainty of a lot of players coming and going. So that uncertainty was there even going into the first games of the season, and at that stage, I was still caretaker manager, and it wasn't until we picked up some decent results at the start of the season that the club decided to make it permanent. But I think by the time we'd got past the transfer window and it was determined which players were going to stay, fortunately for myself, we had a group of players that were determined to come straight back up again. Although we'd lost some players and a lot of good players, we still had good quality, a strong mentality, and some strong characters. And I think probably without that, we would have found it difficult, because I think you've only got to look at teams that very good teams, very good players that have gone down and have found it difficult to adjust to what the Championship brings, the amount of games, and subsequently have not got promotion back up again. So I think the strength of the team was that, one, as a quality we have, but the strength of character that we had in that changing room. That was my first step into management, and to take over a club, such a great club, and the team that we had that probably would have been sort of close to favourites to come straight back up again, but we've all seen that with numerous other clubs where it hasn't happened. So it was a big season, of course, for the club, and certainly a big season for myself. I have no doubts that the coaching experiences that I'd had in all of them years at Tottenham and working with the manager that I had allowed me to step into what we've already said was a very strong-minded changing room, and the decisions that you had to make. I think it made it easier for me. But of course, that set me on the way on a managerial career, and it's something that I've always been grateful for. The time that I'd left, we was in a good position in the Premier League. I think what happened afterwards, there was such a good feel or goodwill towards me afterwards. It ended up being, in what is bad circumstances, it ended up being not such a bad feel afterwards. And I've always been one that has wanted to look forward as opposed to looking back. And I, at that moment, I'd made a decision that I was going to look at that experience as a good experience, as opposed to a bad experience. It set me on my way to management. I felt that I would have offers, after that. The other way to look at it is that, if I hadn't have done well there, then where is that next job going to come from? So I think at that stage I was confident that I would get offers, and I always wanted to look at it as a good experience, and I've always been one that's kept busy and gone to a lot of games anyway.